drowned souls and shipwrecked mariners to the locker. The lost meander here. The chains that bound them to the corporeal world rust and crumble as they sink deeper and deeper into the void. Perhaps there is a chance for you. Perhaps you will escape the endless waters of purgatory and return to the realm of the living. Perhaps you might reclaim the feeble carnal existence you once loathed. Or perhaps, more likely, you are now one of the many, down among the dead. Pirate Borg, down among the dead.
I feel like we need to watch that again with Tyler on camera because
I was dancing the whole time.
They're so funny. Welcome to the stream, everybody. How's my audio? You guys can hear me?
Yeah, you sound
Thumbs
great,
up.
my man.
It is the final week of the Down Among the Dead Kickstarter. I'm your host, Luke Stratton, aka Limithron,
The Pirate Wizard.
Man, we've had a great run. What have you guys been up to? How's life going?
It's good. It's busy. It's real busy. Lots of people to help and take care of and walk them through the Kickstarter process, make sure they get the best. And been working on new Foundry video real hard. It's about ready. It's about ready for Luke to take a look at it. So I'm stoked for that. And then prepping for GameholeCon, which we all leave for tomorrow.
Yes, we do. I actually, when I checked my flight, I was surprised I didn't leave today, but I think it's because nobody else is. It's one of those things. It's like, when you've got a lot going on, you don't want to leave. But then when you think about being in the convention, I'm like, man, I wish I was already there. I wish I was waking up there to, play games. How about you, Zach? What have you been up to?
Gosh dang it. Not a lot, actually. Just kind of rushing around getting prepped, and everything is boring. We did send off, I think, 3 Roll20 modules for review today. So
nice. I wouldn't say it's boring, but it's definitely a different phase of the.
Yes, that that's a way better way. It's not absolute chaos from dawn to dusk. Yeah,
I'm happy to be into the next phase, the deliverables phase. But also this has been fun. I've had great week.
We're tired. Yeah.
I've had a great week, a tiring week. On Friday, I drove up to Netherlands, which is ended up being about an hour and a half. And I ran I6 Ravenloft for the Archon Games crew, which was a blast.
Nice.
I feel very, very fortunate to have those guys in my life and in our lives as Limithron people. We see them at many conventions. Oh, Adam's in
Adam's in the chat. Yeah.
I just want to give a quick little plug here. Like, if you have not checked out Archon Games, Eschaton is their main game. And then they have Nexus Infernum. Eschaton is a deck builder with a map element where you are recruiting a cult and currying favor with the Dark One before the world ends. And it is just so oozing with theme. I absolutely love this game. So we played Ravenloft on Friday, and then I was telling the guys up there how I've been getting back into Magic the Gathering, and Diane plays a lot. I mean, and Charlie owns a game store up in Boulder. So we went deep down that rabbit hole. So last night I was sitting there daydreaming, and I used AI to help me a bit, but I was like, AI, build me a commander deck inspired by Eschaton. And I was like, I need an Archon, I need a cultist, and I was like, so I think one of my things when I get back, guys, I want to, even if it's just like on a deck builder, I'm gonna take Eschaton and pull out all the fiends and all the cultist types and put them into a deck.
That's cool because you only need one of each card to hit every theme. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I haven't played a bunch of Magic, but I will tell you, it has definitely been inspiring. like at first I was just doing Bloomborough, which is like very like red wall, furry woodland creatures. But then I realized that I had bought like 4 or 5 boxes of commons and uncommons from Ixalan just to make tokens for playing D&D. Is my voice okay?
No. Yeah. Sorry. The tokens. I remember the punch outs. I was just excited.
Oh yeah. Okay. If this is the symbol for.
This is the symbol.
Yeah,
Yes. No, you're good so far. Sorry. I was just excited. I remember you punched them out.
Okay.
You had a little
now that
hole
we know
puncher.
what the symbol is, we're good because we've had
Very
voice
good.
problems in the past. Okay, wait. So what was I saying?
You bought Ixalan
so I bought all
cards.
these, and I think actually before I had started Pirate Borg, I bought a bunch of singles to play. I was just gonna run the lost. What is it? The Lost Tomb of Tomoachan, sunken. What's that called, Zach?
Tomo-chan, you got it right. Yeah.
What's is it? The Lost Shrine of Tomoachan? What's the name of the adventure?
Yeah, I think Shrine sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna run it as a 5th edition thing. This is before I wrote Pirate Borg. But then it's like, that's just been like a pile of junk over there in my closet. But then since I got into Bloomborough last week, I was like, wait a second, this is so on brand for me. So when I haven't been working the past few days, I built 4 common decks that are it's all pirates, dinosaurs, merfolk, and conquistador vampires.
Nice.
Now, dinosaurs aren't like super dark Caribbean, at least at the moment, but this is going to be, so I'm bringing those decks to Gamehole. Maybe we can like do some magic with a focus on role playing, which is always what I wanted but never got. You know?
Is it literally only commons?
The commons and uncommons. Yeah.
Nice.
And I have a few, I have a few, whatever. I know people are not here to listen to me talk about Magic the Gathering, but
playing non-role playing games with a role play focus is sometimes the best. Like Lords of Waterdeep with 6 people who really care about Forgotten Realms is so much better. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying with the Archon guys. We're talking about playing Magic, and I'm like, dude, that's a great group to play with because they're like the other super themey, game creator that we always run into conventions. So that'll be very fun.
Yeah.
So that was Saturday, and I've been reading. I've run Curse of Strahd a few times as like short campaign, and I have been reading Ravenloft as inspiration for Into the Maelstrom. But I got a copy from Drive Through RPG in preparation for wanting to run it, and I texted the Archon guys, and man, we had a blast. And I learned a lot. Like I think that as it is right now, Strahd is just like he's so much more complicated, like emotionally or as a character. And I thought that really helped. But then I guess the next thing is that on Saturday, we had our first Fort Collins Ship of the Dead meetup. This is a meetup.com group called Ship of the Dead. We now have 2 chapters, one that meets in Denver, Littleton, and one that meets in Fort Collins. Delaney was in my group, who's in the chat. Michael, who works with Kelsey from Shadow Dark, is helping run it, as well as my good buddy Shane, who is always working cons with us. And I got to run Into the Maelstrom for, I think it was 6 players. And man, was that informative, because I've run on that map before, but I've never actually run where I'm at with the writing and, with the cards flipping over and stuff with Into the Maelstrom.
Yeah. And
I learned a lot. I think I want to talk about this a little bit before we go into what we're talking about today on the stream. I feel like there's 2. I'm very conflicted because, one, I think that the adventure is going to be great, but that it kind of suffers as a one shot. Like I think Curse of Strahd really suffers as a one shot. You really don't get the experience, but like I still want people to have that option. People are going to want to run this thing around Halloween.
Yeah.
That being said, there are way too many NPCs. Even if you give each player one to care about, the one that the group is supposed to care about kind of gets lost. Even when you try to remember to focus on it, he kind of gets lost.
Yeah.
And then when it's like there's 54 of them and you're flipping them over, like I basically put them everywhere. Every time they went somewhere and they went in a room, there's a prisoner shackled to the wall.
Yeah.
Went to, or there's open a bedroom, like I put them everywhere, and it was like, okay, well, granted, we were only running it in 3 hours instead of the allotted supposed 4.
Even still, yeah.
But every time I flip over one, I'm like, okay, this guy, his name is so and so, and he's this, but like, they're dead. Who cares?
Nobody cares unless it's theirs, right?
Yeah,
like
100%. Yeah.
So it made me think that maybe there should only be one for each rank, 13, one for each suit, or just use the face cards. I don't know. I'm really conflicted because I'm having a hard time as a designer balancing between, is this a campaign? Is this like a 5e style? By that I mean the length of it. Like, is this a full adventure, or is this designed to be a one shot? So, stuff to think about. What did you guys think on your guys' playthrough?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's like the card mechanic, and for anyone who hasn't read it, you have the NPCs all in the card deck, and is it 10 minutes? You flip over a card. And,
if you're following the one shot instructions, which I released on the Patreon, it's a 4-hour one shot. You meet the vampire in the first 15, and then every 10 minutes after that, you're supposed to flip over one that died.
The part that I struggled with the most as a player, I was playing, Zach was running it, which you did great. It was very fun, but there was this artificial timer that the card would flip over every 10 minutes. And it would be a reminder to us as players, hey, you need to go faster. You need to move faster to go rescue your person. But I think about halfway through, I had to stop Zach and be like, yeah, but I'm conflicted because I need to go faster. Every 10 minutes, I'm reminded. But my player doesn't necessarily know that unless there's some external. So we added that like every 10 minutes, somebody screams. I think somebody in the Discord added that they had an organ timer on their phone. So it like played organ music every time someone died, which like, I think something needs to be built in of like, we just like blew through rooms because we were like, if we don't, our person that we're here for is going to die.
I think that's what should happen. I do think.
Then great. Yeah.
I think the Strahd's ritual, or not Strahd, Albrich's ritual is the thing that should be moving you forward. And I think that my group said that they were like, hey, yeah, we were like kind of dicking around. And then when we had to find our NPCs, and because of the ritual, like we knew, and of course, as the designer, I worked in like elements of the ritual unfolding that I haven't put in the Patreon yet. But I actually think that thing is a lot more important to the running of it. It's almost like if all you had was the map and no description and a countdown for the ritual, you could run it.
Yeah. And Zach, I think you intentionally downplayed the ritual in our game. Was that right?
Yeah.
For time
we
reasons.
also ran it in like 3 hours, and it was like, in my mind, I was like, I think in a one shot, especially a fast one shot, having a single objective helps.
I definitely thought about your feedback, Zach, but I did not do that at all. I was like, actually, 30 minutes in, I told them, hey, by the way, I have a scoreboard for this module, and I'm going to mark things off, and I made it really clear that killing the vampire was worth way more than everything else. So they were going to try to kill the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I also said stopping the ritual, so I think because you reported in your game they cared about their players, and I'm like, well, that's fine. But I think it's important from I think you're just missing the like, hey, the NPC that hired you behind, in the background of this is paying way more than you care about your NPC. I think that's,
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So so stuff like that, which is also learning the difference between a one shot versus a campaign.
Yeah. So I'm definitely conflicted. I kind of feel like I'm going to hang up the one shot and write it for real. Right.
Get that part
hey, this is
real
a 10
good.
session, whatever, how many session campaign. And then after that, go back through and say, how can we fix this? Because it's really hard for me to be like, well, if I do that, it's going to be, if I take this off the ship, it's going to be, and I want to keep doing that. So.
Yeah. You gotta make sure that you're serving the right dish, and then afterwards you can make it vegan friendly or whatever. That's a bad example. It's just what came to mind. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. Yeah. I ran that. I printed out the map and I'm bringing it to Gamehole.
Yeah.
I know you guys obviously both know it really well, but I was thinking about bringing Ravenloft. Should I bring Ravenloft too?
I was going to ask, do you mean that you printed and bringing Maelstrom or Ravenloft?
I have Maelstrom. I have the full map printed and I cut it up so that you can do one deck at a time.
I almost printed one. I was on the print button. I'm like, why am I doing this? And
I print, and luckily it didn't look that great compared to how the printer looks there sometimes. So I was like, it doesn't look that great. And she gave me the one ink price instead. So it went from a $80 FedEx office print to a $20, which, another thing that I thought really helped. and I'm going to see this in the adventure, is I printed, of course, because I'm the designer, I took the black and white map and I printed it on 11 by 17, and I just held on to it till I found an NPC early on that would have it, and it ended up being the quartermaster. I decided to make Van Buren really hate Albrecht, or no, maybe it was the Necromancer's Apprentice. One of them gave them the map when they were like, because they were like, oh, I don't know how much further down there is. And I was like, dude, bro, you guys are halfway and you got 2 hours. So I gave them the map, and then all of a sudden they can see like, oh, there's a coffin in this room. Like, and it's not so much detail. So I think that I'm going to prescribe that into the adventure as well.
Nice.
But I'm going to bring that
good.
kit. Should I bring Ravenloft as well?
I mean, are we playing? Is it 5e? No.
No.
it's not.
Ravenloft is I ran it with Shadow Dark.
Yeah. I've never played Shadow Dark. I do want to try it.
I'm about.
I think Knave. Excuse me. I think Knave would be a good fit too. But yeah, I guess I have it prepped for Shadow Dark, so I probably would bring it with Shadow Dark. I mean, like you guys, I'm asking. Maybe this should be an offline conversation. Do we want to play Ravenloft the week before Halloween, or?
I would rather. I mean, personally, I'm about 2/3 of the way through Ravenloft again right now as it is. But also, I would rather have you run us through Maelstrom,
My style,
your style, than
okay.
play through Ravenloft.
Yeah, maybe I'll start to stack the deck, or start to maybe on the plane. I can think about how I'll do that. And it doesn't have to be the three of us. It could be any one of us, and then I'll try to get.
I know Corey was hoping to get a game in. There's some people in chat. Jason's going to be around.
Doug's going to be. I mean, dude, there's going to be so many people there. This is going to be a great week.
Do you mean Doug Shoot?
Yeah,
he's going to be there.
Yeah, Doug's going to be there. And then I don't even know who Free League's bring. Oh no, Jason's working for Free League, right, Hexter?
No, he's not. I texted him this morning. He's going just as a player.
Wait,
he's just
what? Oh my god.
fun.
Okay, so listen, Tyler, I'm going to need you to run to the booth because I got some serious gaming to get in. Okay.
Yeah, it's like Hexter, whatever you were doing, you're not doing it anymore. You're doing it with Luke now.
Shout out to Jason Hexter. He runs our Ex Libris website, not the Ex Libris website. Jason, I have your dice, your Mono Makes dice. I've got your Ex Libris book insert, which you have my permission to place anywhere that makes sense inside your copy of Pirate Borg. If I don't know, some people don't like to deface their books, but I'm telling you as a gift from me, please smash it into your book. Okay, and also Adam Watts from Archon. Why don't you just buy a flight, my man? We got an extra fold-out bed in one of these rooms.
There you go.
Come
Snuggle
on
up.
Come on out and play some games with your old buddies in Limithron, huh?
I don't know. If I have an evening, I might go sneak off and play some 2024 5e. I'm really enjoying it.
JP, Game Hall is the best of all the shows.
No, I don't think that. I don't think it's the best. It's one of the best.
It's so RPG focused,
Like, okay, yeah. So here's the thing about Game Hall Con. It's small compared to even PAX Unplugged, way smaller than Gen Con. But all the big publishers are there. And I think it's the smallest, it's like the biggest small con that still gets like famous people. Like last year we gave Pirate Borg to Chris Perkins. We met Matthew Lillard. Like we met Mike Merles.
Free League, that's their home show, quote unquote.
Yeah, Free League is the main sponsor.
Monty Cook always has a big blowout presence there. The D&D design team comes to Game Hall Con, at least several of them every year, which they often don't go to a lot of other shows. There's just a lot of Goodman Games comes up strong there.
They're right across from us this time. Yeah.
And the DM Dave, I found out today, is coming just to hang. A lot of people just come to hang. And honestly, I really decided I'm going to do more of that this year. Last year, the booth isn't that busy, throughout. It's busy at the beginning, but it's not like Gen Con where it's nonstop. I ended up drawing a bunch of maps, and I think I'm going to do a little bit more like, hey, victory lap, hang out with people I like to see kind of thing. So,
heck yeah, man.
Yeah, cool. Well, all right, let's talk about this thing. Also, everybody put +1 in chat for Adam Watts to come to Game
+1, spam it.
If he times his flight, it's going to be like no cost except for. Do we have an extra badge, Tyler?
No.
No. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. Here, hold on. Let me get a +1 here for Adam. Yeah, there we go. Come on, boom. There we go. want to give another shout out before we get started to JB Couvert. JP's got a Kickstarter going on right now. What's it called? Dragon, something under Dragon. I listened to he was on Between Two Karens the other day, and it was always a delight to hear those guys chat. That they reviewed a Shadow Dark scene, so we're coming full circle here. Cursed Scroll #1, as Brad says. I know that's pretty meta, but anyway, okay, let's talk about this thing, all right, guys?
Yeah. So what is this, Luke? What are we doing today?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about skills for the Seasoned Sea Rover. Basically, I'd say it's pretty obvious that the inspiration for this thing is unheroic feats from Heretic, which I have right here. Here's the cover page for it. Unheroic feats. Let's see if I can get you to.
Yeah. And if people want to follow along or they want to check this out on the Morkborg website, if you just scroll down, the PDF of Unheroic Feats is one of the free
it's
downloads.
free.
Yeah,
This isn't good.
there you go. Yeah.
Da-da-da.
We're gonna write our own, so I'm not gonna just read out of this and copy it.
I have not read these. Yeah.
So that's one of the inspirations. Basically, this is like a D66 level up options. The intent is it's to provide level up options for landlubbers who don't have a class, but also to provide level up options for people who maybe want to diversify. And also, sorry, my dog, who is feeling better, it wants to go on a WALK, and he is whining at me. I'm sorry, Yogi, it's not the right time. So it's to provide options for landlubbers to level up, also to provide options for people who don't want to just take their next ability or who might have maxed out and want to keep on gaining a skill every level. That's kind of the idea. All right, let's talk big picture here. The other inspiration I'll say before we kick into it is the skills from Darkest Dungeon. I feel like the camping skills specifically, but also just like how those guys have little combat skills. It'd be cool to kind of work those in to this. Unlike the last class, I don't have anything specifically prepared for this. I thought we could just think tank, hang out, enjoy the end of the Kickstarter, that kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay, so conceptually, let's take a zoom out here to big. What's my best one here? Do I want this one? What do you guys think? Yeah, we'll go this one.
Yeah.
Conceptually, what are your guys' thoughts when you think about what you think this spread's going to be and how it is unique for Pirate Borg? What do you guys think? Tyler, let's go start with you.
I think that #1, it's abilities that are not crazy powerful, but also any pirate could be good at. You know, like anything related to sailing, being better at sailing or being a better crew member, that is #1. I mean, it's even called Seasoned Sea Rover, right? Like it hints at it. So any skill that makes you better at naval combat or even just being at sea or being on a boat, any single character could be good at that, not just the sorcerer or the brute or the buccaneer.
Yeah, things that, especially things that are, you know how much I like the Skyrim approach to RPGs, which is that something you get better at.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I mean, of course, this is going to be a D66 table, but I also like that another way to play it would be that players pick what they want. And then probably my preferred method would be a GM who knows the table or who has read it saying, hey, you were really good at this. If this level up, if you want, you can take this skill instead of your other skill. Or maybe if they're super nice, take it
in addition.
Like that's the kind of thing I'm super into. Because I really like the idea is like that you said, Tyler, that they're very specialized. Like I don't think I would give a gunner a +1 or +2 or 3 to their cannon firing on the ship as a normal ability. But I think that someone who really likes being like Master Gunner might really like all I care about is being good at shooting on the ship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It also provides a way. We have the veteran skill section in the naval combats.
Oh, they're like the kinds of upgrades to your crew.
Yeah, yeah. And in the West Marches campaign, we had people like getting those, and some people wanted to take those abilities. Like, shout out to Bill, who's in the chat. He's like, hey, my guy's been the quartermaster for, 3-4 seasons weeks in our game. Like, could he take the veteran quartermaster ability? And we talked it out, and I was like,
But
yeah.
to be
as long
clear,
as,
you mean 3 or 4 in-game seasons, 3
Yeah.
or 4 weeks of play.
That's what yes, exactly.
yeah.
Yes. Every week for us was a season. So it was like, oh, your guy has been a quartermaster for over a year and survived, a couple of ship destructions. Like, all right, yeah, he knows what he's doing in the Dark Caribbean. Sure, you could take the veteran quartermaster ability. I mean, that ability has a chance to be abused, but I thought that was really cool. So yeah, those type of upgrades, I think it's all being able to be better at being a crew member on a ship. I think is a major focus for the skills of the Seasoned Sea Rover.
I just want to pull up these ones that you're talking about in naval combat. Are they up here, I think? Here, specialty crew. Veteran crew morale tests are +3. Yeah, I mean, both of those are pretty powerful. But I feel like that could maybe be split into 2 different,
Yeah, we actually found people who didn't use morale that often because they weren't doing long
the GM
voyages.
has to be calling for morale checks, right?
Yeah. But the selling
gonna put
cargo at
these in there.
50%, we just wanted to make sure they weren't like shoveling every player's cargo through one person, type of stuff. And he wasn't. He did a good job with it. So
I like the cargo. I mean, these are all pretty good. Bonus. I'm just going to get the ideas out, and we'll worry about the writing them later.
Yeah.
Bonus to morale checks at sea, or we could say like scary. Penalty to enemy morale checks. Even if it's a -1, that could be huge. That could be very swingy if you look at the bell curve.
Fearful reputation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if a
Infamy.
monster is an 8 and you bump him to a 7, you just went from
It's a 17%
fairly
increase.
likely to the most likely number.
Yeah.
Or I guess they have to roll over the number, so like a 7 to a 6 or something would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this legendary captain one,
That's too good.
I think it might be too good.
It's too good.
But I mean, it's their whole ability. Like, that means that it only comes into play when they're at sea.
Yeah, but being able to take a ship and that normally can fire twice and suddenly can fire 3 times, it's a major jump in power.
Okay. Maybe it's like lucky captain. I can't spell. Lucky captain. Extra action on a 4-5-6.
Yeah, it's also like we had people driving boats at 7+ speeds. So their speed was printed at 2 and they were getting like +5 bonuses to speed through stacking different abilities.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys probably didn't play with wind,
They usually did. In fact, one of the problems with wind is the change weather skill, which people talked about in the chat, is a huge issue because anybody who has it just immediately dominates naval combat. They're like, oh, you want to go someplace? Nope, we're just going to change the wind. Now you're stuck where you're at. We get to bombard you and you can't turn and fight.
You mean, is that like the sorcerer ability?
Yeah.
Or do you mean the deck sorcerer or priest? Or
I don't know
or
what a
the
deck
actual-
sorcerer.
The one's on the stream right now. Deck, sorcerer, or priest. Once per combat, change the speed.
No.
and
I mean
direction of
the player ability. I'm sorry, I don't remember which spell does it, but there's a spell that lets you change weather.
I mean, I feel like that's working as intended. If you ask me, like
Yeah,
that's the whole,
totally. But
yeah,
I'm saying they did use weather. Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Zealot.
The zealot.
Zealot
yeah.
has it.
Master gunner, like bonus to shooting. Okay. Yeah. So these are obvious. What else?
Carpenter, ship's doctor, quartermaster, bosun.
100%. I was about ready to say,
Sorry.
at least a section. No, I want to throw my support behind your statement, which is, I think that roles, at least a section of this, could help. Also, if you want to be the bosun or you want to be the carpenter, those roles on the ship, giving feats tied to them, could be a fun way of expressing it. Like, yeah, you could be a bosun without having the bosun skill, but if you've been a bosun for a while, you should definitely pick up the bosun skill. And having one for each of the core rules of a ship could be a great way of kind of laying out a chunk of it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't really want to just take this table, the specialty crew, and turn it into skills, but I do think that is a great. Maybe that's at least like one of the 6 pages. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
this spread is 6 pages.
Right.
And one of them is all, actions, based off that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like the idea that when you take bosun, you gain a new way, like ability, like test presence, and if you succeed, you can re-roll a skill test or something for your crew.
Yeah, one thing I really liked in Unheroic Feats is he kind of had this new. It was like a similar rule structure. Let me see if I can find it. That he would use a lot. Like I think it was like in camping. Let me see here.
I like that a lot of these have two. I'm showing them up on stream. A lot of these have 2 different abilities on them listed. Like you can do this and this.
Yeah, skills are way more elaborate typically than class features, or at least they have. There's a flavor there's a flavor sentence or 2, then there's an ability, and then there's often a second ability or a passive ability or something like that.
Yeah, but that's cool. Like the Skinner, you can wear skin of a creature you recently killed to disguise yourself. Like that's super thematic. Like I can really flesh out my ability that I'm a tracker, skinner, hunter type character. And what's nice is all of these work in this game too.
Of course they do. You should definitely use these. This is a great supplement. I really like this Harbinger of Misery. You feel... Oh.
Here we go.
You feel dark blessing course through your veins. You've dedicated yourself to the black disk that will blot out the sun.
But it's gain 4 maximum omens instead of 2. As long as you live, the GM rolls 2 misery dice each day. I love that. That's just such a good, like...
That's so great.
Yeah. It's sick.
Herbalist healer, you spent what seemed like an eternity under the haze-filled apprenticeship of a master herbalist. You left with a new outlook on life and a few extra skills. Once per day, you may scrounge to find the necessary herbs and flora to create an infection-curing elixir that also heals D4 hit points. And you can test presence DR12 to attempt this treatment. Failing instead creates a toxin dealing D4 damage. Yeah, see, that's some Morkborg shit for sure.
One of the things, though, that that definitely I think, thinking about the herbalist for a moment, like thinking about all the mundane cargo that you're likely to come across in ships, right? And how you can take mundane cargo and make mundane stuff exciting for specific characters is really great. So, like, if you have that cook, well, the next time you go diving into the ship and you find, barrels full of rations or foodstuffs or vegetables, all of a sudden that cook, if it's tied to their ability, can be like, heck yeah, this is super rad.
Yeah, we
right?
definitely need cook. I feel like fishing is definitely a thing.
Yeah. Great fishing supplement located in Cabin Fever, by the way.
I played with it the other day.
And
really
I feel like you got to get that and get Fiskborg, because Fiskborg is basically almost like a whole adventure based on
fishing. Yeah.
Morkborg fishing. It's like even more,
Weird.
Dark Caribbean's a little less weird, for better or worse,
I liked you when you were reading those things, Luke. One thing that sparked my interest was an idea that you spent some time with so-and-so, like whether that's an apprenticeship or not, whether that's background information or like between sessions, like a downtime activity. You could have 6 abilities that are, you spent an off season with Telefafane, you can now cast blah, 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 or whatever. But downtime activities are very a popular conversation in the West Marches group right now.
What about, I'm thinking about a little bit about our Sea of Thieves time, but I'm thinking about navigation, musicians, surgeons. Like, these are fun roles that we don't really have a one-to-one for.
Oh, I love musician. I love the idea of a skill for a musician.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have stress, but that makes me think of Darkest Dungeon, the Jester. One of his things is, I mean, that's the other thing too, is that Darkest Dungeon is such a steep well for this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, both in the, like I was saying at the beginning, both in the camping skills and the ones like in game, in combat.
Yeah.
Traps.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just do a dump here.
Yeah.
Traps, set, and disarm. Although, traps aren't typically as big of a thing in Pirate Borg as they are in more dungeon crawler RPGs.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I like-
they definitely could be, like Trap Maker, What's the one? Wow, I gotta look at the
Trap Maker's
Darkest-
great. Having rules to like, you can set a blank trap that deals X damage or what,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool.
I love this one in chat. Something, I think that the modern word for it, maybe it's also the old word, but the modern word for it would be like a weatherman, but like somebody who can like foresee weather or like make adjustments based on perception of weather, because that could be fun to counter folks who could control weather or bring it up or, yada, yada. Just, yeah. I do like Surgeon a lot too. Something about non-magic healing is fun.
Surgeon is, and that's a position on the boat.
Yeah.
Carpenter and surgeon, bosun.
Super valuable. Yeah.
I'm very busy right now looking up Darkest Dungeon narrator lines.
Speaking of segue, I am running Lost to the Locker adventure for a Darkest Dungeon streamer named Shuffle FM. I'll post the link in the chat here in just a second. We're going to run 1 hour after this stream ends. So it's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Curious
be 2 hours
is the
here.
trap maker's art, his efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes. I should just do this the whole stream.
It's a pretty good voice changer.
My favorite is, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
That's so good.
I gotta play some more Darkest Dungeon, man. Have you guys played the second one yet?
No.
Me either.
I like this is another cool position that would never come up as a class, but might be cool as a feat, is a purser, which is the financial officer aboard a ship.
I mean, that's the quartermaster on a pirate ship.
100%. Yeah. There's a lot of ties to that.
I do think I have direct experience with this topic, where I had a campaign, I think it was my first or second Tales of the Caribbean campaign, where I had a player who loved to bookkeep and was always bookkeeping and always trying to figure out how much everything was worth and where they could sell it. And my players like side messaged me and were like, can we please like do less bookkeeping? And I think from like the overall zoomed out point of view, I would prefer to encourage less bookkeeping.
Fair enough.
And more adventure. So yeah, I think we just got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that was a balance in West Marches of like people running to run businesses and people running to run this and that and like how much wages. And I'm like, look, right now we're in a world where you make enough money to pay for everything on your ship and and not to repair your ship, but to restock it. And to pay all your other crew. But if you're running a crew of 300, now that's going to change. We had to get into, now you got to pay them all.
I mean, a lot of that you just have to adjudicate on your own. And I think the reason that that's not written out is it's by design, because you don't want to, if you give a rule structure, people will think they have to use it.
Yeah.
Only experienced GMs will not. And I don't want a thing where they're like, man, there was all these things about blah, 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 blah. It's like, you need to come up with the systems when they're what you want happening in your campaign.
What about a gunsmith or, gunsmithing?
Definitely like gunsmith, improve guns, maybe like repair, perhaps during combat, because that like in Morkborg, in Pirate Borg, if you roll if you fumble and then it's, what is it, a 1, 2, or a 6?
Something like that.
Your
gun breaks.
Misfire. So a 3. You basically have a 66% chance your gun breaking if you fumble. Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. Perhaps another one I was thinking about is like a Devil's Luck one. Something where like I was thinking maybe like you can re-roll somebody else's like failed roll if they spent Although I think that their Devil's Luck is too much of the game right now, too much of the game loop. Like in my game on Saturday running into the Maelstrom, I was like, there's no threat here until they're out of Devil's Luck, you know?
Yeah.
My one-shot rule is you only get one Devil's Luck. Period.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people, they just like use it like, and they were using it at the beginning for dumb things, which I was like, great. Like, I just felt like there was so many times where it's like the vampire kills you. Oh, wait, no, you passed your roll and it doesn't get to do its 3d6 damage. You know, it's like, which is like, you want some of that. But I think I'm basically saying out loud that I want to avoid too many, making Devil's Luck
Increasing it.
any
Yeah.
better, you know?
Yeah.
Although I do really like that Harbinger of Misery, making it better with a cost, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I mean,
like that
you just
idea.
keep that in mind. Yeah.
Here, let's put this in themes here. We're going to say, big fan of double-edged skills.
Yeah.
Strong, but with a steep cost.
Tommy in chat is suggesting like some sort of like an someone who's an animal tamer or calmer, or like, you know, to expand on that, someone who maintains livestock or, you know, herdsman, something aboard the ship could be interesting too.
I'm gonna need a pitch though. Like what? Like, hey, you leveled up. Roll D66. Oh, you take care of the goats. You get
Well, I
plus
think-
5 to all your
yeah.
goat-related rolls.
I do like, there's a spell, right, that lets you have a spectral dog or shark. And I think that you could do something to where, you know, if you run across, you know, dark fauna beast or whatever, that you could try to, you know, tame them or bend them to your will or control them or whatever, like some sort of interaction with dark
The
fauna.
animal handling check. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need I need a more relevant to the plot that will unfold pitch
Mhm.
before we get the farm animal on board. I mean, I agree that is an important role in the ship, you know. Oh, talk to animals. There's a relic for that. I'm hesitant to do anything that lets you do what relics can do.
Yeah.
But Tommy says that you know, the lucky ability. Obviously we're not going to steal this because it's already been written. You can take it from Orc Borg and use it in Pirate Borg. But I do like the idea of abilities that remove or mess with your luck. Yeah, you know, the other thing, you know, sorry to bring it back to Magic, but I do feel like they have a lot of really good, like, one-word things now that could maybe be, that we could maybe bring in. Like, when I'm playing that game as a game designer, I was like, oh, that's a really easy way to do a very complicated mechanic. Like, for example, Menace. Menace in Magic is you have to be blocked by 2 or more creatures. And I'm thinking, well, what if we had something like that where it's just like, oh, you just like, you can defend twice when you defend, or, you know, stuff like that. I like those really simple mechanics that just kind of tweak the loop a little bit, you know?
Yeah. What about something to do with Ash? Like, I know we like the community really likes Ash, but
Definitely.
you put it in there already, but like something about modifying your results on the Ash table, or, you know.
Yeah.
You
I
can
think
roll
rolling
twice.
better on the table. Getting 2 doses from destroyed. Sorry, everybody has to watch me type. I'm also much better at typing when that's what I'm thinking about, and that's not what I'm thinking about. So, from destroyed undead. What else? What else could you do with Ash?
Refine it.
I mean,
Change your roles. Do more things. Create things with it. I've had people stack Ash into a bomb and throw it at the coral crab or the giant colossal crab to try and make him go crazy.
I mean,
Ash bombs.
one of your co-players in the playtest threw up a cloud of ash and then shot their 2 flintlock pistols through it to have like ash bullets zipping through. which was kind of a fun thematic idea. But yeah, because the idea there,
that seems to me like a drunk pirate wasting their drugs.
Yeah, a little bit. It's
like
kind
if we were like in a shootout in Colombia and I threw my bag of cocaine in the air and then shot my machine gun through it, everyone would be like, "You're an idiot." But I mean, I guess maybe it makes a cloud of mist, it makes it hard to see, you know?
Yeah, I think the kind of the concept there was in a fantastical way is there a world in which you can, like, if you can just get ash into somebody's bloodstream, do they immediately suffer it? So, you know, if I coat my bullets in ash, does that work? You know.
Hey, hold on, I gotta bring in a special guest, guys.
Here comes. I keep being like, is there a dog in here? That's what it is.
This is Yogi. He's a little whiny right now because he wants to go on a thing, but he is an Ewok. Let's say hi to everybody. Let's say hi to the stream. It's all 32 people watching. Oh, look, it's Yogi. Say something, Yogi. Hello, I am an Ewok.
He's an Ewok.
He's good today. Okay, somebody in chat said alchemy, but I like the idea of like ash. This ash thing is definitely there. We could do a whole page of ash. Like,
you could do a whole page of alchemy too with potions. Like,
but we already have a whole alchemy spread. I think there's maybe one level up.
Yeah,
I don't want fine. 6.
Yeah, you don't want to go nuts.
One,
fair.
You know. Yeah. So we'll say, but I like the idea of like blow darts. For ash, like you can make blow darts. You know, like I don't think you have to. Like creative players can do this without rolling for it, but I love the idea that there's a thing that's like, with one dose of ash, you can make D8 or 2D4 darts.
Yeah.
Blow darts, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Alchemy, for sure. That can be game changing. I can tell you right now, having run a stream.
Yes.
Where Mike Mason from Chaosium rolled out on the alchemy table and rolled a polymorph potion that turned him into a whale. I mean, I picked the animal, but man,
I got turned into a monkey in my game with Zach.
Yeah.
Or raccoon, trash panda. Yeah. Someone in chat mentioned an animal companion, but that got me like going back to the training an animal thing or doing one. But what if one is like you now have a parrot or a monkey or a dog, like a classic animal familiar, as I see that you're writing, from Pirates of the Caribbean, like, and it's not just like, oh, I bought one, like, but there's rules for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea that it provides a mechanical ability.
Yeah. The creature can fetch, monkeys can fetch this, birds can do this, and dogs can do this or something,
Nodium says my game Ash is a bit like Spice and Dune. That's because when I designed it, I said this is going to be like when we pitch it at the conventions, we're like, this is Spice from Dune mixed with magic mushrooms, which I know Spice kind of already is that way, but it's a little bit more recreational than Spice. Spice is very. I'm sure there are cults dedicated to Ash in the Dark Caribbean, but in my mind, it's a little bit more like cocaine and a little less, or LSD is a little less like. There are people who are dedicated, like Grateful Dead fans, but it's not so much like Spice, where like there's whole religions about it.
I mean, economy.
I'm sure I think there is a whole economy about it. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah,
the process of doing it is a little less. I don't know. I guess psychedelics have always been a part of some cultures, but I think for the average pirate, it's a little less transcendental,
Yeah.
You're not seeing dreams of the future. You're like, oh my God, there's a, snake lady. He's coming to kill me. I don't know.
Somebody said last time at the end of last stream when we were talking about this one, they talked about swimming or like deep divers or things like that as a skill could be really cool.
For sure. Deep diver. 100%. I think this is another one I really struggle with when it comes to design. I love underwater content. I love it. Like in my mind, the true perfect Pirate Borg campaign, a third of it is underwater, and you have to build up to it. Part of it is you're on fishing boats and rafts, and I actually have this really cool idea for a like fishing not floating, but like raft or a dinghy jetty based fishing town where like a boy has gone missing, the fisherman's son has gone missing, and he's stuck under coral. But there's like some kind of route or some way that these diving fisher people, explore the reef. So I guess what am I trying to say? But I think that the perfect Pirate Borg campaign in my mind ramps up your underwater ability. At first it's just like in Subnautica. At first you can just dive around the reef, like whatever, just like a normal human could. Then you get some mermaid scales and you can start to explore deeper. But then I think by the end of the campaign, you should be able to like deep sea dive, which will take you to Atlantis, Deep One Villages, the Abyss, that kind of vibe.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I do love the idea of there being some kind of diver ability. I think that's essential. I don't really know. I think when I go to actually write this, we need to go dive into the text and figure out what would be good mechanically. It's not going to rob. Like, we don't want to make mermaid scales. And what's the name of the ritual? Mermaid's kiss? Mm-hmm. No. Someone's going to know before I get to it. Call of the Sea.
Yeah.
So the idea is mermaid scales is like, hey, go get the thing. You three guys eat these. Or, hey, here's the sea hag who gives you the mermaid scales so you can go do this one adventure. And then Call from the Sea is like, oh, we need to go a little bit deeper. I think it'd be cool to like this ability, I don't think you're helping the party, or are you? I don't know. It's one of those things where like, well, if the party can't go underwater, you're not going underwater as a group, and how useful is it if one guy can go,
right.
There's a line there. So we got to think about
that. Chad is saying a smuggler, someone that can more easily hide different items, or, can make more money with contraband, things of that nature.
Yeah, I think again, bookkeeping ones, I'm not saying no, because I really think selling stuff in port is good, but I want to encourage. This is an adventure game, and we want to keep it an adventure game. Though, I mean, like really easy ones like that, like things sell for twice as much. I love that. I mean, that's like, I think that's what isn't that what the Antiquarian does in Darkest Dungeon? Like when you take treasure back, you can, or you always get coins, or it does something like that.
They can pick up additional coins, I think.
Yeah.
It's like double the amount. Yeah.
Or I mean, I think that's the other thing. Oh, for everybody who's listening, we mentioned this in the Kickstarter update. I just want to give one final plug here. We have a new stretch goal. We're very, very, very happy with where we're at financially on this Kickstarter. We've been very clear about that.
Huzzah!
I think for us now, it's just hype. So we have a new 5,000 backer stretch goal. It's designed for, you guys to invite your players or invite people in your gaming community to back for $1. Basically, we're going to make the Antiquarian class at 5,000 backers, which is, like I said, the Antiquarian from Darkest Dungeon mixed with Indiana Jones, treasure-loving pirate vibes. I think that, this is a great way to you just invite people to come back to Kickstarter for $1. We also have the $20 player's guidebook. Yes, you do have to pay shipping, or you can get the PDFs. Like, there are lots of options. Zach, did we add a $10 PDF only option for the player's guidebook?
I don't think we did. Doesn't mean we can't. Just, but I'll double check here real quick.
Ooh, is it Casio? A tailor. I like that idea. I think that can be, this is the kind of thing, like bookkeeping can be really fun for the right campaign, but I don't think I want to encourage that written in the rules. But role-playing opportunities to go into situations that you might not be normally allowed to go into, A+. Tailor. Make
that's
costumes. Cool. Like, that's, for me, that's, like, we got to figure out how to make that work as a class ability. But I really like the idea of, like, hey, we really need to make, like, we need to make British costumes to sneak into this ball. Well, like, do you have any material? No. Well, if you're a tailor, like, you can make it happen, you know?
Yeah.
I like that.
The player's guidebook is not a free PDF. No.
No. Though you can get the quick start.
There
It
is
basically
a quick,
has. Yeah.
There's a quick start on the Kickstarter, which is pretty close, but it doesn't come with all the classes. That is not a free PDF. There is a player version of the Pirate Borg PDF that comes with Pirate Borg right now.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be removing that because it is its own product now. So that you are allowed per our permission to share that PDF with your players. But we're going to be removing that once this Kickstarter is over, because we have a product for that now.
Have a
So
product
people can
specifically designed for that.
they can just
reason,
buy
yeah.
that thing, and it'll be half, just like all our stuff. The core book will be, the hardcover will be 20 and the PDF will be 10. Maybe we'll do a free PDF version at some point. I think that a lot of people, the biggest comment we get, like positive comparison to Morkborg that we get, is that it's easier to read. I don't think we really need, just because Morkborg has a free easy to read version doesn't mean that Pirate Borg needs one. I think people just ask that because Morkborg did it. I don't think we're going to do that.
The quick start is pretty expansive for a quick start as it is. So
Yeah, you could definitely play the game with just a quick start. Taylor
Cartographer's cool. I like that.
Okay, yeah, Cartographer 100%.
That's a
I
good
feel
one.
like there should be a whole page on this because it's my creation. You get a wizard. Just write my, like, you're really good at controlling lighting. You've recently got into casting magic spells, especially frog spells.
What about
Frog spells.
Yeah, my Bloomburrow deck is all frog based.
Got it. Okay.
Sorry, that was
Man, you're obsessed, Luke.
I'm not upset. I mean, this is how everyone benefits from this normally, you know.
Yeah.
Level up, you become Luke. I don't know if that's a level up. It's like more like a descent into madness than anything.
what about I mean, my knee-jerk naming was, but it might be too niche, was like Spelunker or something like that. But the idea of, like, you know, somebody who's on like the delver, the explorer, the scout, whatever you want to call them.
I like where you're at. I'm gonna go one step further into, like, you know, we're not gonna call it rope monkey, but that kind of vibe. The, like, you know,
You're good climbing and
climber.
ropes and yeah.
climber, rigger. How do you spell that? Spelunk.
No R, no R, but you're on the right track. Yeah.
Spelunker. Basically, like, you know, bonus to climbing in caves and on ships.
You can also do lookout. I know in, like, Shadow Dark and things like that, they and in some of the other Year Zero games, they have a lookout role, which is really fun.
Well, I mean, the lookout. Actually, maybe am I just confusing us with the 5e? Is there no mention of lookout in this?
There's no lookout position in the naval combat.
Then
That's
we
in
definitely do
5e.
that. So there's a lookout in. Maybe you could just steal it from the 5th edition version. There's a lookout in 5e. Limithron's got a naval combat 5e that lets you add. So, you know, because you roll for initiative every turn, that lets you add to initiative.
Yeah, super nice.
Yeah, +1 to your initiative rolls and sea combat.
I'm just gonna pencil that in, +1 to, and that's a way bigger bonus.
Yeah.
In Pirate Borg. You know?
Yeah.
And there's also
That's
like
a 30, 16% bonus. Yeah.
there's also like the idea of you can't be surprised or things like that also, or surprise are harder. You know, it's harder for you to be surprised, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
This is
could
what
definitely add that. I mean, ideally, a skill has like a naval combat focus and a, you know, like if you're not on ships very much ability.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't want them to be too long. I do like the idea of it being like 2, like we said in on Heroic Feats, 2
Yeah.
or 3 like very specific things, but that are
Yeah.
very related, you know?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Tommy's
yeah, okay,
being
so
rum
someone,
brewer. Yeah.
Delaney mentioned gunsmith. We already got that on here. We already have got cook on here. We've got carpenter on here.
We don't have any just like fighting ones. I don't know if we want them or not, but stuff like in some classes these exist. I'm just going to word vomit here. Duelist, insulter,
Those are all,
fast. Yeah, I know. Fast footwork. Yeah, those all already
you're
exist.
basically describing the core classes.
I know. I'm
Especially
brainstorming
Swashbuckler.
here. All right, shut me down. Fine.
What about things that are more niche but also tied to that, like a knife thrower, like as in like for like the
We
as
have
in
that.
like the you have it completely, like I was thinking about like
I mean, the knife knave. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they're not. Can I throw it?
I had someone throw one that in my. I mean, it's hard for me to remember the exact wordings of these at this point.
Sure.
I think the point is that like we already have the combat ones. You know what I'm
Fair
saying?
enough.
Okay. Look, without trying to copy exactly what Heretic has 6+ combat ones in here that none of which are even close to what's in Pirate Borg. So I'm just saying, as an idea, do we want one of the options to be fighting or related?
Like, what are they? Give me some examples.
Okay. Calm killer. The knife or arrow that is once per turn when making a ranged or melee attack, you may reroll the damage dealt and keep the higher result. Dual wielder. You suffer no penalty when attacking with
There's
two
also
weapons.
part of me that wants to look up like what people's favorite 5e feats are, but I also feel like those will probably be like which ones are the best mechanically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One that doesn't currently exist is the ability to fight with a pistol and a sword in the same turn. Like I had Flintlock Fanatic in my game with Zach, and I could fire 3 pistols, but like, what if I wanted to fire just 1 pistol a turn and do a melee attack? I was like, that'd be a pretty cool ability.
Okay, so fire a pistol. Yep. And make a melee attack in the same turn. I like that. That's very piratey, very
Very
flavorful.
piratey, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That people were talking about grog and drinking. Like, is there? I don't think we have an ability that's like you're better at drinking rum than other people. Like you pass your drinking roll start at a DR 2 or 4 instead of a DR 8. I'm not sure how, that could be one of a couple different things, and you're less susceptible to poison, sort of like a iron stomach or something like that.
Drinks like a fish.
Drinks like a fish, tough liver.
I love this note from Austin here. I think some defensive combat feats could be good. Like that's great idea. Like maybe you expand the crit range on a defensive roll. Like that would be really fun. Those are always really exciting.
Yeah, there's no like specialty actions in Pirate Borg. Not that there should be, but like you can take you can spend your action to specifically gain a defensive bonus, and you crit on a 2 instead of a 1, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In the Marvel RPG, they have something called the Fastball Special, with people really, really like, which is the idea of, exactly. Like it's kind of like these tag up actions where, theirs is like a big, strong superhero can use their action to throw another one, and then that person makes an attack. But I love the idea, like the thing that's cool about that is this like tag team or, inter-party interactions as an ability is really fun.
Can you explain that again? Explain the actual mechanical thing.
Yeah, so in Fastball Special in the Marvel game, a player says, a strong player says, I want to perform the Fastball Special action, which is I'm going to grab one of the smaller characters or lighter characters. I'm going to throw them like a weapon as my attack. And then that player who is thrown then makes an attack against them when they're landing, right? So it's like this fun interplay where both of them are kind of interacting. Obviously we can't do that, but is there
feel
things
like
that are
I think what we need to do. First off, I've been thinking about. Okay, so this is like a little bit of a side rant, but I have scheduled a bunch of upcoming podcasts, and I'm going to try to record now that the Kickstarter is shipped and I'm not on the road. I'm going to try to podcast every day. Never mind. We definitely can't do this. I was going to say it would be really fun to do, or not every day. I'm sorry. Podcast once a week, but also once a week, I think it'd be cool to do a live stream, like same time every day, every week, right? And it'd be really cool if one of those was we just watch Pirates of the Caribbean or watch whatever movies and just A, Mystery Science Theater them, and B, just pull ideas for adventures and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you can't just watch a movie on YouTube, right?
you could 100% do it. It's just that it wouldn't stay on YouTube, right? Like it.
Yeah.
You everybody who watched it live would have a great time, and then it would disappear.
Yeah. I mean, I think the real way to do it would be, this just makes it more time, but like, for a 2-hour stream though, that'd be perfect. You just watch a movie, and I was going to say you could pre-watch it, but the fun part is sitting here like while it's happening,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any way to do that.
What about
we have Surgeon Delaney. We got it. Yeah.
What about something to do with grenades or bombs?
Being like a black powder poet?
Well, I think there's maybe more than one ability.
Literally right above your head in this stream.
I understand that. I'm saying something more than, hey, you get extras and they're easier to throw. Maybe there's something fun that you can do with them, or maybe you can
trick shots.
Maybe you can craft them in a certain way, or like you're a bomb maker. Like that could be a fun.
I feel like that's Black Powder Poet. And the other thing, this is a meta one, but I feel like grenades and bombs are extremely OP in Pirate Borg.
Yes, they are.
If you have a group of players who know what they're doing, the thing they will do is go by sleep darts and bombs and basically just ruin any of your adventures. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Just a note on your number 27, attack critical range expanded. That ability already exists in the calculating cutthroat ability on the swashbuckler. So you might want to just add defensive critical range expanded. Above. Okay, so 27 exists already.
Yeah, okay. So we won't do that. Attack. I'm trying to think about like, maybe it's like, I think it'd be cool if there was one that was swingy. Like you can take, if you take it, like the other day at the meetup, Tim, Nades and Blades is his Discord name, had one of those cheater D20s, or not cheater. It's like there's no middle numbers. It has like extra 20s and extra 1s.
Oh, interesting.
And I was thinking, like, what if there was a way to do that? Oh, what about expanded, like I can't remember, crits and fumbles. This is what I'm trying to say. Is that like you increase the crit range by 1, but you also increase the fumble
range. Yeah.
I have an ability that
accident prone.
Yeah. An ability that I'm tinkering with for another thing that says, it's called the descriptive text says go big or go home. Whenever a 17 through 19 is rolled on a 20, you can force a reroll. But then on the reroll, you crit on a 17 to 20. But you succeeded, but you didn't crit. You can double down basically and try for the crit, but you could fail completely.
Interesting.
I like the class ones for skill stuff. Where you're a master at something, and like any roll of a 2 through 10 counts as a 10 or something like that. But I guess in Pirate Borg, where it's always a DR 12, that's like, it kind of means you always pass at these checks unless you roll 1. So it doesn't work quite as well as like D&D.
Could we do something that makes daggers and like lower dice weapons cool or funky? That's like maybe as an example, like D4 weapons explode on a 4 or something like that for you. Like,
I was just thinking, as you said that, I was thinking that, or like D4 weapons always roll with advantage,
Yeah.
Because you see all the time people have like, oh, especially if they lose their weapon, the thing they're going to find is probably going to be a D4, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tough thing about D4s is that if you go against anything with armor, there's a chance you just like there's a statistically high chance you do nothing to them, even if you're hitting with every attack.
Okay, that gives me two ideas. Some kind of negate armor skill,
Nice.
especially for D4 weapons.
I have an idea for that.
D4 weapons always roll advantage damage. You know, these are obviously not written for Pirate Borg. We'll clean them up when we get there.
My thoughts when you were typing were D4. Your D4 weapons go up a die to D6 weapons.
Oh, so you could be like a knife dude that's always using,
if you have knife knave, but you're like, I really want to use this, but I want him to be better. It's just like not practical when fighting a lot of monsters. Another one could be, and this doesn't have to be D4 related. It could be when you hit at a certain number, if you hit on a 16 or better, you ignore armor or something like that.
Oh, okay, like
Precise shots,
I like what you're
precise,
saying.
you know.
Okay, like
Hit on an
precise,
18, whatever it is.
Succeed by 4 or more bypass armor, because you've got you know, if you crit you lower armor,
You
but that
lower
only
armor,
happens-
right, yeah.
then that, as written, that only happens after the roll.
That's stupid. I would say probably I would do by 6, just because
Yeah.
gut check this says, holy crap, that's like super strong. Like I would
Yeah, it's
love
very
this,
strong.
but everybody would go, yeah, take it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then on it by 6 or more, it means only on an
18 to
18.
20. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's
That's a nice.
that's still good.
Feels good. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be, and that could also be like with melee weapons, you know, without or whatever. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter because guns bypass anyways.
What about something?
Yeah, you're right. They do. Yeah.
What about something tied to armor for yourself? Like, we talked about repairing guns in the middle of combat? Is there a way that we want to offer to repair armor in the middle of combat?
I mean, this almost makes me think that this is not gunsmith, but
Repairs.
we'll just put. Well, I guess we'll just say put blacksmith. Fix armor in combat.
You could say,
improve-
melee weapons.
Would you say?
Well, or fix armor and melee weapons in combat. You know.
Do melee weapons break?
Fuck yeah, they break. What are you talking about? What game have you been playing?
How do they break?
A fumble.
News to me.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Melee weapons break on a
How
fumble?
many Pirate Borg games have you run?
Oh, 30.
But you still probably have them like get
Oh,
lost. or thrown
yeah,
or
they
whatever.
drop it in my game. Yeah, they drop
Oh
it.
yeah, no, they break, dude. You got that
Break
nice.
and break,
That's
yeah.
why the brute's ability, like this weapon cannot break, is such a
Yeah, that's cool.
I just totally. How many times have I read that and just
I
never
love that
put
Tyler's
it in
like,
my
"Wait,
brain?
What?
Huh? I like.
I mean, it is easy to forget. Armor going down is easy to forget as well. You know, also like Into the Maelstrom. I don't know if we cleared that up or not, Zach, but them critting against the vampiric armor, I think negates an important part of the adventure.
Well,
So
I think
that kind of thing.
100%.
I don't think. I think some like magic armor should not get negated by critting. You know.
Well, I was going to say, if we scroll down to where we were talking about armor in here, I think the simplest answer is negate armor skill, blah, 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 wherever it was. Basically you say physical armor or something like that, right? To where it's clear that we're not negating magical armor or natural armor, things like.
Yeah, these are some of the things that I would fix if we ever do second edition or advanced Pirate Borg. Like one thing I was thinking about the other day is I think I would make sure that we rewrite everything to be a modifier to the player's D20.
Yeah.
Which we got a lot of them out of there, but there are a few where it's like, especially on the monster side, where it like lowers the DR to a number.
Yeah.
It's like that is not how you should write that.
Yeah,
because
it's messy.
It just gets people get confused. They're like, wait, it says the DR is an 8, but I have this, which
Yeah.
Ghosts are DR14 to hit, but I hit on DR10s. Like what?
yeah, exactly.
What about we can't use this? We shouldn't use this word because it's used in a lot of other things. But pugilist, like something about unarmed being really good with no weapons.
Yeah, that's a class ability.
Yeah.
Where is it? Yeah, tavern boxer. I mean, you know.
I feel like that one though would be cool to pull it out of a class and give an option for it to be, you know, your swashbuckler could do it or your whatever.
Yeah, like something with unarmed attacks.
Yeah.
Fisticuffs. Yeah. Tavern Brawler is the name of the feat in 5e.
Tavern Boxer is the name of it in Pirate Borg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Escape artist, something like that. I could see that being a really cool one. I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know that we have one, but you basically like getting out of restraints or the grapple of other creatures is easier for you, something like that.
It's just that's a really rare
situational.
Thing. Yeah.
Too situational. Yeah.
I know that we have Inspiring Leader does exist already as a class ability, but something that's social that, you know, bolster allies or increase or commands,
well, I guess this is the other thing. Another problem with this thing is that this is not a pillar of the gamified parts of Pirate Borg on purpose. Like, yes, presence does say to charm, but in my table, most of the time it's like, what does the player say that they're doing?
Yeah.
And I don't really want to like put that in where they're like, oh, well, I have this ability that says if I get a +4 to my presence rolls against, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, well, that's one of the things I was happy to leave behind in 5e where be like, what do you say to them? You know, like, let's play out the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the other things I've had a problem with, I want to make sure that we're reinforcing the right things, you know?
Yeah. One of my major problems with D&D 5e is there are almost no role-playing only related abilities or social counter abilities in a character class. They're like, sometimes they have inspire others and they get a +D4, but there's no like, you're good at speaking to people. Like, it's just like, you know, it's all combat related and a couple of like, you get better at this role and that's it. And I don't like that. So that part I'm with you.
Interesting. Wait, it sounds like you just disagree with me.
No, in 5e, I'm saying that they only have mechanical benefits on their character. And it's very rare for them to have role-playing stuff. And I don't like that. I like playing social classes. I like talking a lot. And it's like, if I'm not fighting, the best I can hope for.
Hold on, though. I understand what you're saying about 5e, but I don't understand. It sounds like you're saying that there should be social class skills in here, which is the opposite of what I just said.
Yes. I think that social abilities should exist. I like being able to take stuff that makes my character better at it, but I don't disagree with you that how you've implemented it is a good idea. You know, so like, I don't know if that's even doable then, but like, could you just take something that means you get to, a second chance or a bonus to reaction rolls?
This is the thing that this is what I'm talking about. Like, I understand from the 5th edition design standpoint why there aren't those things, because at my 5th edition table, I don't want my players playing out the story and then referencing an ability and then rolling to change the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's more like those are like extensions to your bond and your flaw and your distinctive quality than they are abilities, because if they're abilities, you end up using them. You know, I mean, I guess here's one I would like. If we're playing 5th edition and you want to make it a deception roll and you fail it, you use your deception, like, oh, I have a sly background, or like I used to be a con artist. I've got the con artist feat. Can I re-roll my deception check? Super into that. That's the kind of thing I think that you're missing in 5th edition. But
yeah.
to be like on the flip side in the Pirate Borg world, those things aren't gamified on purpose, because I in my opinion, you don't ask for a deception roll. You ask what they're saying and rely on their like role-playing delivery and or explanation of the situation or the choices that the player has made to adjudicate the situation rather than having them just roll a die, you know?
There's a really good. I love this ability. Bill is suggesting in chat like an I know a guy sort of feat.
Contacts. Actually, I really like that.
Interesting. Yeah. See, I always have a hard time with those. Like even as a GM, where you're like, I mean, it's just a different kind of storytelling, I guess. If you're like in the tavern and then you want to do a thing and then you can't do the thing, but then you invoke your ability to know somebody who wasn't there originally, right? Like,
yeah.
Or just a, more, I use it more often as a, I don't know anything. We can't figure out anything about this artifact. Well, I'm going to use my ability that says I know a guy. And that means, you do know a guy that knows about an artifact, but he's in Nassau. So you're going to have to go there, right? Like as a GM, I still can help kind of shape how that comes about, but the ability to be a social creature and have contacts of various sorts can still be fun. Doesn't mean that you get to have that guy standing right next to you in the tavern when you walk in. It just
I'm trying to think. I guess I don't have enough experience with those kinds of player abilities.
Free League has
like
a
if
lot
you're
of
playing
them,
a
actually.
story game, it feels there's this line between playing a normal role playing game and playing a story game. You know, and I think at my table, I really like when the GM is in charge as the arbiter and the storyteller and the referee for everything in the world. It's not the players, but they're not in charge of the players at all. And I think those kinds of abilities bridge that line a little bit, which I think I'm trying to figure out why I have a problem with it. And I think that is like re-rolling a fail social roll I'm super into, but there's not a social skill in Pirate Borg except for maybe presence. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying. Let's maybe move on because
Just jot it down, move on.
yeah. I mean, like I agree with you overall for a different game. If we were writing a Pirate Borg, like when we get to doing this for Dark Caribbean 5e, like I'm totally into having all kinds. Like there's the deception skill, there's charisma score, there's all of these inspiration. There's all these skills that people are gonna call on at the table that you should 100% be like, I'm gonna use my like suave swashbuckler skill to re-roll my inspiration.
Yeah.
This just feels like a different kind of game, and I don't want to encourage to people moving to roles because they have new abilities. That's my final thought on the thing.
All right.
I mean, like, is this Zax? Gak? I don't even know how to say this. We'll just call him Xander. Xander. I can't stand the role for interaction mechanics in most cases. Yeah, I just feel like for me, you see it a lot of tables, but it takes you to a different kind of role playing and not the one that I want. I want to encourage people to like, even if they don't feel like speaking in character voices, at least like describing what they're doing. Like we're role playing. We're not playing a video game. Like tell me what your guy. That's the difference, is that you can tell me what your character does. Zax. Okay, great. Okay, are there any other major topics we're missing? I put up here camping, which doesn't happen as much in Pirate Borg as it does in other games, but it does happen, especially in a big long temple or on an island. Camping skills, carousing skills. I don't have any good ideas for that one at the moment.
That would be like you can re-roll on the carousing table or something.
Yeah, but see, that's a
What about
narrative.
gambling?
Gambling, definitely. Gambling.
Yeah. Also, can that relate to Three-Eyed Parrot? That like you get to draw an extra card or something like that, or in any gambling thing you can re-roll or redraw an extra card beyond what you normally are allowed.
Yeah, just to bring everybody up to speed, anybody who's new, Down Among the Dead has a new in-world poker game called Three-Eyed Parrot. which is used. Sorry, I'm right here. This is how it sits at the moment. It's going to get reworked and get real art, but basically it's like a shortened version of Texas Hold'em, where players play it in taverns, but also cartomancers can use it to divine your fortune, and that's exactly what you do at the start of the adventure. Is you play a game of Three-Eyed Parrot and divine where things are based off of the cards. Yeah, so definitely a gambling one. I'm 100% in for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And not that we have to stop, but I think we're past the point of we have more ideas than we have slots to fill.
Oh yeah. But this is a brainstorm dump.
Brainstorm,
we do not, and I mean, like, I'll be honest with you. If we get on a tip and it should be a bigger than D66 table, I'll do that. I just want to make sure that I don't want to bloat it for the sake of bloat. And I want to make sure we don't let any sneak through that are like, whoa, that's too powerful.
Yeah.
Kind of how Lucky is in 5e, where you're like, they should have played with that a bit more.
They totally nerfed it in 2024, by the way.
What is it now?
I don't remember. It's not like you get to reroll anything. You get like an extra inspiration or something. I can't remember.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm gonna go look. I'll be right back.
Is this the I like the idea that you talked about several times this stream, Luke, about like the type of game that this is, right? Is this the type of game where you would enjoy having mechanics in this, maybe in this space? Think about like the Corpo in the Alien RPG, where like you have an ability that's rare, but when you use it, it gives you a benefit, but it screws over your party. That sort of a flavor.
Oh yeah, I honestly think
cool.
when we come to write these, there'll be a lot more of that. So like we'll put that. I'm gonna put that in the top here. Specializations. Big fan of double edge, strong but with a steep cost. Example, bonus to one stat, but what's negative to another, or helps you but screws the party. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Hold my grog.
I feel like I've definitely written something along the lines of that. This is kind of, I've noticed that this is becoming more and more of a problem where I have released enough things that I can't remember where I put things.
Yeah.
Like, especially since I'm working on Dark Caribbean and it's like at like 300 pages. It's like, I have definitely done Hold My Grog, but I can't remember if it was important or mini, or if it got removed altogether. It's like, I kind of need, I actually know that George R.R. Martin actually employs an assistant to help him with all his names. So when he's writing new characters, he makes sure he like hasn't reused them or knows where they are in the like, lineage of families, because,
Yeah. The lucky feat, you get a number of lucky points equal to your proficiency modifier, and you can spend it to give yourself advantage or make someone that's attacking you get disadvantage. But that's it. It's not re-roll any dice roll after you've rolled it.
Like it is in Pirate Borg.
Yeah. But we already have we have that built in. An obvious thing for us would be like, lucky, you get one more devil's luck per turn,
What
per
I have
day,
written
but
here
that's
was
really
re-roll your devil's luck roll at the beginning of the day, but -1 to the result.
Oh, that's fun, because you're like, I rolled a 1. I really want more than 1.
Yeah. But you could get 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite.
I think Austin, I'm guessing you were a little late to the stream. We talked about there is a 5,000 backer stretch goal now called the Antiquarian class, which is, the Antiquarian from Darkest Dungeon meets Dr. Jones, meets every treasure hoarding pirate you've ever met. And we're inviting everybody to share the campaign with everybody they know and get in the back for the dollar level, whatever. Like we said, we're very happy with the money amount we're at. Be cool to have 5,000 backers. So if we get to that, we're going to write a whole new class. So we're going to avoid too much of that kind of stuff. I mean, like some treasure hoarder stuff could be cool, but yeah. What else we got here?
I like we have gambling, and definitely you could be good at gambling, but I also like the Evan's kind of getting more specific here with cheating is kind of a fun, like the that's definitely in the vein of Rapscallion or Swashbuckler, but like the idea of being good at, dirty fighting or cheating at cards or things like that could
What
be
if there's a way to meta that where it's like once per X, you can roll 2d20s and take the higher result, but if they both fail, something really bad happens.
Then you're caught cheating.
Yeah.
I'll put it in here for food for thought when we actually get to sit down to write them.
I like the idea of almost anything. Do whatever you want to do twice, but if they both fail, you're fucked. What
if it's like roll 2d20s? I'll say like once a combat, but
roll 2d20. If they both fail, you take it as
it counts as a fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll 2d20s and take the higher result. If they both fail, it counts as a fumble. You can't use Devil's Luck for this. So frustrating. I at the beginning of the year, I was spending like 20 minutes to 30 minutes a day on a typing program, and I found it was just taking too much of my day up, and I've totally reverted to where I was before. But there is a new game on Steam that's on my Steam wish list called Glyph Fighter.
Yeah.
Glyph typing game. Glyphica, maybe? I'm gonna have to look it up. And it looks sweet. It looks like kind of like a modern Galaga style shooter, but you have to type. And I'm like, that sounds great. Sorry, I know nobody cares, but you can't use. I'm gonna say Devil's Luck can't be used.
I love. We could reflavor it, but Bill's saying in 13th Age, if you roll with advantage and they both hit, you crit if both dice are 11 plus. So kind of the opposite side of that, which is like you have to roll twice and they both have to hit, but if they both hit, then you crit.
Like I would definitely pull out anydice.com and do the math.
Yeah, it seems pretty strong in Pirate Borg where you're gonna be shooting for a 12 most of the time.
Yeah, especially later when you average like a +3 or +4 bonus. Now you're doing it more than 50% of the time. So 30%, they both hits 30% of the time, but then criticals double damage.
It works like in the Marvel RPG. There's an attack ability called Knocking Heads where you make an attack roll and you have to hit with both targets in order to knock heads. But if you hit, then you get the other damage. Right. Which is really clever and really fun. But I think it does get tricky when the DR is so low typically in this game.
This 2d20, if they match, you insta kill. That is a cool idea. But I'm very hesitant because I don't like ruining boss encounters.
Yeah.
Though if you think of like Savage Worlds is much more like a human style game where like all the NPCs have one wound and they call them wild cards wild cards are like main characters. They have two. And it's like, it's pretty easy to kill Blackbeard if he's only got 2 wounds.
Yeah.
Pirate Borg, though, I don't know. I think I want it to be a little. This is a game where you have eldritch monsters. Like I do not think you should be able to kill a Shoggoth with one shot, no matter what.
Yeah, that would have to be you auto kill something that has like 10 hit points or less. It would have to
I mean, this is another argument for why a game like Advanced Pirate Borg would benefit from a hit die thing, because like I think like a great example is the sleep spell in our game. It's Necro Sleep. That spell is a great spell to make an NPC fall asleep, but I kind of have a problem if you can, like when I ran Anchor Drop Falls, my players, made the giant, massive crab that is like TPK easily. They put him to sleep the first round and filled his mouth with grenades. Like,
Yeah.
very smart. I think A+, but that makes me think that Necro Sleep is too powerful if you can make a Kraken fall asleep. Like, there's nothing that says he can't do that, you know?
Yeah.
What about something messing with the broken table? I know we did that a little bit with the Lost Souls, but is there something fun that we can do there? Yeah.
Like what? Because since we just did it with the...
Yeah, I want to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, like I like the idea that soul is very much like, you already died. You don't, like, you're only good at not dying. That's your thing that you're good at, is not going back to the grave. If you come up with an idea, let me know.
I'll take
clarification.
About that in a
A plus 11 on the die is 25% of the normal.
That's that's talking about the 13th age critting situation where you have to roll it
you roll
twice.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I do like that idea. I mean, I really think that I don't know if Mothership got it, or if this is a Chaosium or Call Cthulhu thing, but the D100 system, where if your numbers ever match, it's a critical. And then if that determines whether it's a critical success or failure based on what the target number was. I think that's really, really elegant. The other one I really, really like is, and I've talked about this a bunch on the podcast, is White Hack. If I explain White Hack to you guys, the roll system, I'll explain it again for the stream. Basically, in White Hack, imagine normal D&D system, but it's a roll under. So if you have a 14 strength, you hit under a 14. You crit on your number. So yeah, you lose the cool part of D&D where critting on a 20, but honestly, that didn't used to be a thing anyway. That's more of a new school thing. So imagine your strength's a 14, you crit on a 14, you miss over a 14, but armor is a static number that's added to the bottom of the roll. So if the monster has an armor class of 3, then you hit above a 3, below a 15, critting on a 14. Make sense?
Yes.
So it's basically a no math system. You never have to think about math. You just say, okay, hit armor class 2. Okay, I've got a 16 strength. You roll. If it's between that range, you hit. If you roll your strength number, you crit. I think that's really, really elegant.
The 2d20 system from Odysseus is very much that, but even more so is the Fading Suns RPG.
How's that work?
Because it exactly how you described, where you're trying to roll under, and if you hit exactly your number, then there's a currency that you earn more of, but it's basically critting if you hit exactly your thing. I mean, what you just described is super Fading Suns, which Fading Suns, for chat's benefit, came out of White Wolf Vampire. It was the historical team from Vampire. When they left, they made Fading Suns, which is kind of like Dune mixed with Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Austin's talking about, I like this idea too, but this is the last, I don't know if it was the last stream. Gambling with your soul. Yeah. Well, so you have gambling with your soul built into the Rapscallion, but also we really built that into the Lost Soul class. That's like, or the Unlocked Soul, as we're calling it. Sorry, Hexeter. So while I agree that's a great idea, I think we kind of already have that. Do we have that? Is that in design already? Let's take a look. This is the deep one. Unlock Soul. Visions of Dune. Oh yeah, the entire class is on borrowed time. So borrowed time, your D20 results of a natural 1 cannot be altered. Every time you roll a natural 1 on a D20, roll a D100. On a 1, Charon, however you want to say it, reclaims your soul, takes you to the netherworld, and your story ends. Increase this number by 1 each time this roll is made. So we already have that. I think if we didn't have that unlocked soul, I would 100% be into something like that. But I think it's pretty dialed to where we want it already. So, yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's zoom out again on topics here. Is there anything that we're like missing? Like we don't have a lot of arcane,
Yeah, I was good. That was on my list.
you know, like what about the way to give some magic to some, like, oh, I'm a brute, but not now I've got like I'm cursed or I am, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say you could definitely like say basically, hey, you can roll once on the prayers table for the zealot or on the powers table for the necromancer, and you know basically you can go steal from that and get a.
I think that's
one.
I think you can already do that.
You can already do that. Just by
I think something that's more important than that is a skill here that defines multiclassing. And what I mean by that is, what if it just said, you take this skill, you can take one random ability from another class.
Respectfully disagree. I think that you can already do that, in my opinion. And if you don't think you can do that, then you need to expand your understanding of
99% of all West Marches players do not know that you can do that.
I guarantee you did not ask all the West Marches players whether they can multi-class or not.
I'm going to put that on my quiz, my survey when I send it to them.
I forbid you from putting that in your quiz because I do not care. I am not adding that. That's a waste of
Okay, I'm all right. Yeah,
get creative as a player in multi-class. Like, you know.
Yeah. Lots of people were confused. That's all I'm saying. But okay.
Look, part of this whole thing is educating the community to hack your own game. Yesterday or Saturday, I was at Ship of the Dead, and Freddy Spaghetti is his username, ran his own Pirate Borg adventure, which was awesome. And the first 10 minutes of play there, he called for a check, and he like turned to me, he's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, don't ask me, man. This is your table. Like, it cannot be more clear that, you know, yeah. But it's a GM thing. I don't think it's a player thing. I think you're saying you want the player option to multi-class, and I'm saying no. I'm saying we're not putting that in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I kind of feel like then you also open the door for a player to be like, well, I picked this feature and now I want to multi-class and take this feature, and now I've got a combo that we didn't plan for that is like broken, and now GM has to deal with it. Whereas if the GM adjudicates it to start with, then they can avoid that altogether.
Yeah, in West Marches, it's particularly difficult because people don't level up at the presence of a GM generally. So it's like a whole, like it's between sessions.
Well, then I guess as the Commodore of the thing, then you could make rules for that.
Yeah, I'll be adding that to my
or just
season
tell them
2.
no, whatever your preference is, I guess.
I'll just make rules for it. It'll be great. It'll be in the systems rules document. Yeah. Well, but anyways, back to magic stuff. I do think like increased knowledge of magic or innate like understanding of magic. You're a librarian. You can identify things, or like all these role-playing related stuff. You know how to cancel it. You know how to counter it. You know how to attack it. You're resistant to it. Like any of those things could all be fun magic related things.
You can handle relics better. Like you could, you know, like your relic dissolves on a 1 right now, or disintegrates. Maybe there's a way that we can craft to where there's a you get a second chance with that, or you know, it's a little bit harder. Which I love that trickiness is built in, because you can build really powerful relics right now, and they have a ticking clock on them, but there could be something there to where.
On my Ravenloft, or I keep saying Ravenloft because they're so closely related to my mind. In my Maelstrom game on Saturday, I said, no, you can't use Devil's Luck on this thing before the roll would happen several times. And I thought it really, at the right moment when it was like something arcane, I thought it really helped raise the tension.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like better casting spells, because that's going to be a really simple one to write, and it across the board will help.
So for casting Gaia's Siren, they wanted to, I was like, you can lower the DR by spending blood and HP, and they're like, does it have to be my blood? And I was like, yes, but it doesn't say that in the book. I think we could add something here where you could use other people's blood, you know.
Yeah, people really like the idea. Several people have mentioned a lot, you know, basically allowing someone to get a free ritual, which would allow the brute to then have a ritual that they could utilize.
Yeah.
The brute cannot have a ritual other than like you're asking me, rules as intended. The brute cannot cast rituals. That's
Right,
the whole
right,
point
yeah.
of the class.
Yeah. They're yeah.
Well, what about
Or like maybe they can either cast a ritual. They can cast a ritual, but it either like it's +5 DR and they can't use Devil's Luck. It's like they can
you can
cast
set it
it,
up.
but there's a good chance that they're gonna blow the world up. You know.
Yeah.
going back to the like you get a bonus, but there's a downside. Like you could be like you get a bonus to casting arcane rituals, like a +2 bonus to casting arcane rituals, but you get a -2 to all magical mishap rolls.
Or you get a
minimum
or you,
1.
Our
The thing
mystical mishap on a 1 to 5 instead of
The
just
thi-
a 1.
No, the mishap, Zach,
Yeah.
you're playing the wrong game.
You get a mishap as soon if you don't cast it. If you get an 11, you get a mishap.
Yeah,
I like
never
how
mind. I'm sorry. Yeah,
You
yeah,
have both had moments. This was like,
Yeah,
what,
no.
what game
Look,
are you
how
playing?
many rule books do I
100%.
have around me? Okay, it's sometimes it's hard to keep it all track.
I'm sorry. Are you wearing a D&D shirt right now?
I'm wearing a Blade Runner shirt
Not
right now.
you,
actually,
Tyler.
yeah.
I'm wearing a Live with the Rod shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is my favorite part about Pirate Borg, that every time someone's like, I'm going to cast a ritual, especially when it's like something stupid pre-combat, they're
Yeah.
like,
You're begging.
oh, I'm going to
it.
cast this thing. Like I had one this week where the guy was like, oh, I'm going to cast a ritual. What did he want to do? Something dumb, like something that was like a ritual that made sense. And I think they didn't understand the potential consequences. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And they passed,
Yeah.
but
At my table, generally speaking, when that happens, when they're doing a mundane casting, I'm like, yes, but just so you know, failure can mean death, gravity changes, or the Kraken shows up. And they're like, great. And then they roll the dice with no further
it's a
questions. And I'm
fun
like,
table.
well, welcome to the table, man. This is
at,
great.
At conventions, I'm always like, this is a really fun part of the game,
Yeah,
I think now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I think I am going to, like, at my table, when you're casting rituals, you cannot use Devil's Luck. That is just how it works. So I very clear, you can work with another caster to get advantage. You can take an hour to lower the DR. You can spend your own blood, but you cannot use Devil's Luck. And
I think that will be a rule in West Marches. I think that will dramatically change the way high level play does.
Yeah,
Because at high
because-
level, once they get the spells, they're just like, we own you. We control your mind. You do what we say. Like,
yeah.
I summon the Kraken and then I mind control it. Oh, they summon the Kraken, we mind control it.
Well, you can't mind control. Mind manacles, isn't that only creatures?
Is a Kraken not a creature?
I mean, isn't it only people?
You're going the wrong way.
Man, we're going like deep rules dive here.
Yeah.
Mind manacles. Where is it?
I think it's
Right here. One creature. Yeah. It's not very long, but yeah. I mean, I guess if you got a +6 spirit, that's a whole.
When it's the
combat.
Kraken kills a ship in one
I
attack.
think that's
you know?
sweet though. But I think it's sweet because they had to risk the roll. You know what I'm saying? Like if they could just Devil's Luck it, it's like who cares? You
Yeah,
know?
but that's what I'm saying. Like when there's 4 zealots on the same boat and they're all standing next to each other and they're all helping the person cast the spell and they have 12 Devil's Luck between them, there's no risk of failure of that. You know?
Yes, Bill's saying that it shouldn't work on bosses, but like, how do you define a boss? A Kraken's just a monster in the book. Like,
Yeah.
you know, do you put that into every single? That's why with Maelstrom, this is the first time I've like written a boss, like campaign wide boss. Like you can't mind. You have to say like is immune to magic because you can't mind manacles. If you mind manacles in the first turn and then he kills himself, like your campaign is.
It does feel like that the game could benefit from a keyword, not boss, but if they're like an arch enemy or whatever, if you run into an arch enemy character, they are immune to the following things, like or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think immune to magic gets you pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, because that solves a lot of things, and they're if they have magic resistance, it doesn't get brought down.
Yeah.
But also, like these, out of hundreds of games, it's rare that it comes up so much that it's actually a problem. And at an individual table, if it's a problem, you just change it. People complain about the 2024 rule book, and I was just talking with a buddy of mine on the phone last night, and we're like, okay, then just change it at your table. Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, I think I don't know. This is the problem with with D&D being bigger, I think that people forget it's a role-playing game, you know? I mean, like, think back to, like, the 80s. Like, Tyler, you remember when we played that black... I don't know if it's called Black Box, but that, like, starter set with the little goblins and stuff. It's like, dude, I don't know what we were doing. We just had, like, make it up, you know? And it's like, I feel like that gets lost when you put all those rules there.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you, Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, they want you to change it for you at your table. They want that. They say that in the books. They want you to do that. Like when they get those tweets that people are like, my players did this and blah, blah, blah. Like it says very clearly, like their one rule at the table is that the dungeon master's in charge, not that the players looked it up. And I like, if I ever run 5e again, which actually sounds like we're going to with Curse of Strahd, right, Tyler?
Yeah, let's go, man.
I am going to be 100% very clear. I am in charge, not the rule book, you know?
Yeah.
And because I have your interest, like if you're playing with a DM who doesn't have your interests in mind, I think you find a different DM. Like I play with DMs like that who just want to kill you. I'm not talking about that. I don't run my games like that. I give my players, ask Delaney, I gave my players a bunch of, oh no, even more than that. Ask Adam, because of the Ravenloft game, I gave them like so many little, like they ran it. There's a spot where they run into 2 wraiths, and 2 Shadow Dark wraiths is like immediate TPK, and we use the AD&D stats instead. Like I want them to have fun, you know. And I think if your GM doesn't want you to have fun, you either need to talk to them or find a different GM, because that's just, you know.
I definitely play with some GMs that are like, that's what we rolled, that's how we're playing it, and we're not changing it, and that can be really fun. But then it's also led to games where I'm like just sitting there being like, I know we rolled this random encounter, but like it's 4 hours later and we're still dealing with an encounter that doesn't matter. You know, that's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, thinking back to our Tomb of Annihilation game, like I do think that's one of the things that irks me about like let me change the rules when I need to, because I promise you the narrative will be better to some extent. At the same time, though, I do appreciate letting the dice fall. I think that is
sure. Yeah,
that's an important, but like I think you can do both. You know, I think you can.
There's a difference too between changing what was rolled and being like, no, the story develops this way, even though the rules is written is this way. Like they're guidelines more than hard rules.
They definitely got. I cannot be more clear. There's a reason it says Player's Guidebook, right?
Yeah,
You know.
I got to get you a T-shirt, Luke, that says that. That's, you know.
When we get done, once the Kickstarter stuff gets rolling, I'm definitely going to do a whole new run of merch. We're going to do Pirates Don't Buy Ships.
Yeah, there you go.
And maybe the back says they don't sell them either, you know, or like, and yeah, more like guidelines. But we should just make sure that it just says more like
guidelines. Yeah.
We should also do, like, while we're talking about that, like 100%, I think a Maelstrom shirt would be sick. And a Locker shirt with Charon on it would be sick. Like some branded shirts around the adventures, I think. Would
I mean, dude,
cool.
As long as we're still doing the Printful store, I can make anything. If anybody in chat has an idea for a shirt they really want, just like shoot us an email. Ship of the Dead at limithron.com, right? Is that the podcast email, Tyler? Do you remember? I think it is. Someone test me now. Remember. Send me a t-shirt or comment or something request. Ship of the Dead at limithron.com. I'll see if we get it. All right. Well, let's wrap up here. Closing thoughts. I think this is going to be a fun class. I like this list. We're gonna shoot it out on the Patreon for playtesters when it's ready, and then it'll make it into the book. I do have plans to do an alpha of the whole book to backers before it goes to print. Maybe while I'm still working on Trapped in the Tropics.
It's a good idea.
So, yeah, they will have an opportunity to review things and hopefully provide feedback. What do we got coming up? Tyler, you've got a live stream in 6 minutes. Right?
No, in an hour.
Yeah. An hour now.
In an hour. I'm going to immediately go to this and prep it with them, but Shuffle, who plays Darkest Dungeon, I just dropped the link in the chat. He's going to play with Charlotte and Pete, 2 of our Harbor Masters from the West Marches games. From across the pond. They're both awesome. So that'll be a fun game. I am going, just in case you watch it later, Luke, it's Lost in the Locker, but we're going to do a little bit more Darkest Dungeon style. So it'll be a little more
you're going to be like,
heavy.
bang,
Stab. The deep sanguination of your soul is brought to light. Anyways, we've got that going on in an hour, and then we all fly to Gamehole Con, and we do that, and the Kickstarter ends.
The tragic extent of my failings.
The Kickstarter ends at 6 p.m. Madison, Wisconsin time, Central Time, on Friday. So I'm sure we'll be going out to dinner or something on there and having lots of high fives. I mean, the community, you guys have been so awesome. So
can I just come on the stream and just like make comments
on my stream?
Yeah. Should I just be like,
oh, that's every little brother's dream, right? Have their big brother just sit behind them going, "You're doing it wrong."
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like
No, that's not what I meant.
What?
Because your voice changer.
Oh yeah. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
You want to be Charon? You could just pop in, Luke, and be Charon.
Oh, this is a good one. Even in death, the captain shouts his orders and the crew obeys.
Nice.
Dude, there's so many good ones. Yeah, we got, okay, so we're in the final week. We close, is it 6 o'clock local time on Friday?
Central time, yeah.
If you are at Gamehole Con, please come to the booth for the close. We're gonna, maybe we should do like a drawing or a giveaway or a chance, part of the ship, part of the crew.
Yeah, I should go get some Kraken rum.
Yeah. Also, I know I sound like a broken record, but invite your players to back at $1. You know what? You can even give them the dollars. I wish we should also do like an incentive. Just back the campaign for free. We'll pay you $1 to back.
I mean, we could pay all of China to sign up if all we want is just a bunch of backers.
We would still get kicked off. Kickstarter.
Don't
do that. But seriously, get your players to back. We've got a 5,000 person stretch goal. Campaign ends on Friday. Tyler's got a live stream coming up. Oh man, join the Patreon. I don't know what map I'm gonna do. I want to do the Ship of the Dead, but now I kind of feel like I don't want to be rushed for time. So I don't know.
Lost to the Locker landing kit.
You mean just like you just want one for like streams and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's a landing kit, but with 3 themes. One for Lost in the Locker, Into the Maelstrom, and
that's a lot
the other
of work.
Yeah. Well. It's just borders and skulls.
So
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, right? Come on. What are you even talking
Rick
about?
and Morty meme is like 5 minutes in and out.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
I was not in control of any of the time. Yeah.
All right. I got to go. So.
All right. Bye.
I was just reeling myself
it's not
in.
An airport. No need to announce your departure.
I'm sorry. Was that a broadside shot fired?
Yeah, pretty much. What else? Okay, so yeah, I think what we're gonna do is take a look at the schedule and maybe start doing a weekly stream at the same time. The podcast is coming back. I got a lot of good guests coming up. We got Professor Dungeon Master Ben Milton, Andrew Kolb's coming back on with his new Wonderland RPG.
Sean said yes, right? Yeah.
What?
Sean said yes, right?
Sean said yes, but I cannot get him to commit to a time. Sean McCoy, if you're listening, let's do a podcast.
Anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. So yeah.
If I should run a weekly stream game of official Limithron products, put a +1 in the chat.
I thought you had to go.
Well,
how are you gonna have time to stay and see if the people +1
I'll make 2 minutes. I was just trying to reel it in.
If you think Tyler should run a weekly actual play, send an email to shipofthedead@limithron.com to see if it works.
We've had 2 emails ever, and neither asked a question.
Oh, also very important. If you think that Adam Watts should plea and beg with his wife to allow him to come to Gamehole Con, put +1 in the chat. Adam from Archon Games.
No, that's got to be +2 because now it's confusing. Which one are they plussing?
No. All the +1s count for Adam coming. If you time it right, Adam, you can even go to the airport with me since we both live in Denver area.
There you go.
I've got Amex lounge access. We can chat and over cocktails.
You got a place to stay?
Yeah, you can sleep on our fold out. Oh my God.
I probably could find you a badge. I just have to ask around.
I mean, I think DM Dave probably has extra badges. So, yeah.
JP plus 1, plus 2, plus 3.
Yeah.
Thank you, JP. We've never met, but I like you.
Didn't you meet him at Gen?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I definitely did. I liked you then.
Tyler, you should listen to his listen to Between Two Karens Curse Scroll #1 podcast.
All right. Enhance.
Yeah. Oh, a few closing thoughts. I know it's 3:00. The stream or GameholeCon, I am running a panel on Sunday. I don't know how many people here are going to be at the con, but Sunday it's called Into the Dark Caribbean, Dark World Building, Dark Caribbean.
Yeah, something like that. It's but I think let's make a commitment, Luke, that we're going to record that freaking panel.
We are okay. So I do need to bring my kit. All right, I wasn't going to bring my kit, but I'm not going to draw. I'm not going to bring my tablet. So I think bringing my podcast kit is a great idea.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to bring the kit. We're going to record the panel. It's going to be about world building in the Dark Caribbean. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anything else? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for backing. If you've backed the Kickstarter, thanks for listening to me talk. If you are listening, I am very happy. Very, very happy with how the Kickstarter has gone. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be doing more of these streams. We'll get a schedule up, all that good stuff. I'm Luke Stratton, a.k.a. Limithron.
The Pirate Wizard.
You can get me at @Limithron pretty much everywhere. Please join the Discord, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's go out. Should we go out with a video again? What do I got here? We'll do the quick flag. How about that? Bye. Have a nice time.